Hello everyone, Peppermint here. Today I'm going to show you how I make my seasoned green beans by canning them. But first, how about giving me a like and subscribing to my channel? I sure could use your support. Well, now that that's over, let's get started with this. I use frozen green beans to can, and they are frozen. And here I am just trying to thaw them out. I have some leftover green beans that I have frozen, and I'm just going to put those right back in my stock where I'm going to can. And then I'm going to put the frozen green beans that I just bought on top of that. Now, I'm not really washing these beans. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these beans as close to room temperature as I can by running warm water over top of them. So I'm going to let those beans soak in some warm water, and while they're soaking, I'm just going to get ready to start canning. In the video, I'm making sure that I can see through the steam pipe and that there's no calcium buildup on the lid anywhere. I'm also checking the gasket to be sure there's no tears or cracks. I'm just looking it over, and I'm getting ready by putting it in to the lid. I'm using my weighted gauge 16-quart pressure canner from Presto, and I'm showing you my weighted gauge. I'm showing you that I am going to be using a 10-pound weight on this pressure canner. If you do not know what PSI you need to be using, I have a video that is in the description box where you can listen to and get a better understanding of your altitude and what PSI you should be using. Also, don't forget that you need to have your rack in the bottom of the canner. And this canner requires 3 quarts of water in there. There was quart number 1, quart number 2, and quart number 3 in the pot. I am still getting ready to can. Here I'm just getting out a few utensils that I'll be using. I'm using my cutting board to put my jars on. And I'm bringing my percolator over to the corner of the cabinet. My beans are nice and thawed, so I'm bringing them over too. Since the USDA does not require you to sterilize jars anymore, you have to wash them. They need to be clean, but they do not have to be sterilized as long as you are processing for at least 10 minutes. Now, if you're not going to be processing that long, then you're either going to have to bring your processing time up, or you'll have to sterilize your jars, either way. So since the USDA does not require you to sterilize jars anymore, I've been warming my jars up in the sink. I make sure that my sink is very clean, and I put all my lids and rings and my jars in there all at one time. And it's been working out really well that way. So here I am seasoning these green beans. I'm using half a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. You can use kosher salt or Cannon salt. Also using a 1/4 teaspoon of chopped onion and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic, all in dry forms. When I go to eat these green beans, I will also add some black pepper in there. And now I'm filling the jar up with my green beans to 1-inch headspace. And next, I will be filling the jar up with this hot water from my percolator. I will also be leaving a 1-inch headspace with the water as well. I'm debubbling. That is very important. If you don't debubble, then it will affect your headspace. Checking my headspace. I'm not happy with it, it looks like. So I am dipping out a little bit of that water so I can have my 1-inch headspace. And there we go. Wiping the rim of the jar off with the wet paper towel. And then I'm putting the flat on and then the ring. And then I'm going to screw that ring on finger tight. I like to use my thumb and my pinky finger to do that with. Here I am telling you that there's a V on the lid and there's a V on the pot of the canner. And you match up those two V's and put the lid down, and then you turn the lid clockwise, and that will lock it in place. And that is how you put the lid on the canner, on this particular canner. So I've got the heat up on high, and I'm waiting for a steady stream of steam to come out the steam pipe. And so here it is. Here's the steady stream of steam. It is coming out. The lock is up, and it is spitting out there. And we're going to wait 10 minutes and let it do this for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So we are going to put the pressure regulator on the steam pipe. And we're going to wait for the pressure regulator to start moving. That is the wait. So the pressure regulator is moving, also known as the wait. It is starting to move. And so now we can set our processing time on our timer. And I do need to lower the heat, because what happens is it starts to go really fast when it first starts to move, and then you have to turn your heat down so that it will be slower. And here is about what you will need your weight to look like, how it will move. So the processing time is up now. All I'm going to do is move it over to a cool burner. Turn the heat off. And I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to do anything to it. Nothing. I'm just going to let it sit until the lock falls down. Well, the lock has fallen down now, and we are going to take the weight off of the canner, and we're going to set our timer for 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Well, the 10 minutes is up, so now I'm going to move my canner over to the other burner so that I can get to the jars better. But I'm going to take the lid off very carefully, and I am going to tilt it so that water does not drip down on my feet or steam does not go up into my face. And I'm using pot holders. Before you open a pressure canner, you need to be sure that there's no evidence of any pressure being in that pot. If you're looking for a small weighted gauge pressure canner, I will have a link in the description box where you can click on it and it should take you to the Amazon website where you can buy one, and there will be a commission that will go to this channel. Not a large one, but every little bit helps. And there's also going to be some links to some weighted gauge and dial gauge videos so that you can better understand the difference between the two. And I would suggest that you watch them if you do not know the difference between dial gauge and weighted gauge. I teach both. So if you enjoyed my video, I hope you've subscribed to the channel and I hope you hit the like button. And so I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you around the corner. Bye-bye.